I've always been inspired by the version of the text before it was finalized. So that was done by S. Rajaratnam. And it ends with this phrase, where we will seek progress and happiness by helping one another. And to me, that is the ethos of the Singapore that I think is the best version of Singapore. Because I think as a mutual assistance society, where people sort of help each other and uplift each other, that is the essence of the kampung spirit. I would say the lesson that I took from my first job was that as a management consultant, you need to have ownership of the problem you're trying to solve and the buy-in from the people who you're trying to solve the problem of in order to finally get to that solution. And for those who have a more separated view of these problems, it becomes a bit harder to effect change. So for me, it's very important that if you're trying to effect change, you have the trust of the people who you are trying to make the change on behalf of. I think with complex challenges, the most important thing is to figure out from first principles, what is it that your strategic goal is? And once your strategic goal is in place, everything sort of can make sense. For instance, when we talk about, if I may bring it to Singapore, right? What is Singapore's issue with job loss and all that? Is the creation of a sort of new value proposition, or a value proposition that makes Singapore unique among different countries. And once we see the problem in such a way, in order to create something unique and is special to the world, then it has implications for how we think about industrial policy, how we think about R&D, how we think about our labor force, and then various aspects of the problem fall into place. I'll say two things. First is there is a lack of optimism in this country, and part of it comes from the fact that housing price growth has outstripped wage growth for so long. So all these things make the burden of high housing prices very, very hard to start families. And that is one reason why I detect that there is a lack of optimism in this country. The second thing is about jobs. So I think people sense that in Singapore that the future is being built, but it's not in Singapore. I think there are many ways in which a small country can actually achieve economies of scale, but if the best jobs continue to be out in bigger countries, then it's going to be very hard to create an exciting value proposition for young families to want to be themselves here, base themselves here. So I had very, very wonderful parents, wonderful grandparents, and I wanted for nothing and lacked for nothing when I was younger. My parents were very, very discerning people of food. So what I remember growing up was being able to travel all around the island and just to see what were the kind of food that was available. And I grew up. To this day, I cannot think what is actually my favorite food. There's just too many of them. We will go to Chinese restaurants, wanton mee, nasi biryani, everything. How did my family react when I told them I wanted to pursue politics? Well, my wife didn't approve. So what I said then was, I'm going to push for policies for better family formation, better support for babies, better support for mothers. And then she said yes. I started out volunteering with Mr. Gerald Giam, and he is simultaneously both the policy head and also the MP for Bedok Reservoir Punggol in Aljunied GRC. And so with him, I managed to sort of see a variety of different activities that the party does, be it from Meet the People session, where I've seen the types of cases that come. And Meet the People session is very interesting because it is where the system, that you see the cracks in the system. People who fall through the cracks in the system, that's where they use the Meet the People session to seek redress. And so it was very, very instructive for me to see the edges of government policy. Through Mr. Giam, I volunteered with the policy team, and from there I could see the ways in which the party has advanced its agenda of being a responsible opposition, of being having a first world parliament. So it gave me a good sense of both the parliamentary side of the MP as well as the municipal side of the MP, and that was what gave me some conviction that this was something I would like to pursue. The Workers' Party now is, I think, has achieved its goal of being seen as a responsible party. Going forward, I think what people rightly expect of us in the Workers' Party is that it should provide, along the PAP, answers and a vision sort of the future, and to be able to answer the big questions. So for me, if I am able to contribute to a party that has a sense that people feel, that ordinary Singaporean on the street feels, has a coherent and inspiring set of policies for the future, I think that would be I would be satisfied with that.